Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe: the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Imagine a world where the reality you perceive is shaped by the structure of your own mind. A universe where the limits of your knowledge are defined not by what exists out there, but by how your brain processes information. This isn't science fiction. It's the revolutionary legacy of Immanuel Kant, the man who shook the foundations of philosophy and forever changed our understanding of reality. Welcome to a journey through the mind that challenged the status quo and redefined the boundaries of human thought. Today we'll dive deep into Kantian thinking, exploring how a methodical professor from Königsberg sparked a philosophical revolution that echoes to this day. Kant wasn't just a thinker, he was a walking intellectual earthquake. His Copernican revolution in philosophy turned our understanding of the relationship between mind and reality upside down. Just as Copernicus showed that Earth wasn't the center of the universe, Kant argued that our mind doesn't revolve around reality. Reality as we know it revolves around our mind. But what does this mean exactly? Kant proposed that our mind isn't a blank slate, passively receiving information from the world. Instead, it actively structures our experience of reality. Think of it as invisible glasses we all wear. Glasses that not only allow us to see the world, but also determine how we see it. This idea is at the heart of Kant's masterpiece, the Critique of Pure Reason. In it, he argues that concepts like space and time aren't features of the world itself, but a priori forms of our sensibility. In other words, space and time are the lenses through which our mind perceives the world, not intrinsic properties of reality. Kant goes further and introduces a crucial distinction: the difference between phenomena and noumena. Phenomena are things as we perceive them, shaped by the structures of our mind. Noumena, on the other hand, are the things in themselves, reality as it really is, independent of our perception. And here's Kant's philosophical bombshell. He argues that we can never know the noumena directly. We're eternally limited to the world of phenomena. But don't despair. Kant isn't condemning us to total ignorance. On the contrary, he's freeing us to understand the true limits and possibilities of human knowledge. And this is where we enter the fascinating realm of Kantian epistemology. Kant introduced the revolutionary concept of synthetic a priori knowledge. He argued that there are certain truths that are neither purely logical, like all bachelors are unmarried, nor purely based on experience. They're truths that expand our knowledge but are known independently of experience. A classic example is mathematics. When we state that 7 plus 5 is 12, we're not just repeating a definition, nor do we need to count objects to verify it. It's knowledge that expands our understanding, but we know it to be true prior to any experience. Kant argued that this type of knowledge is possible due to the structure of our mind. But Kant didn't stop at the theory of knowledge. He also revolutionized ethics with his famous categorical imperative. Imagine a moral compass that points not to consequences or emotions, but to reason itself. That's what Kant offers us. The categorical imperative states, act only according to that maxim, by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. In other words, before acting, ask yourself, what if everyone did this? If the answer is, it would be a disaster, then the action is morally wrong. This is an ethics based on duty and reason, not on consequences or feelings. It's a view that places enormous responsibility on each individual. We can no longer hide behind, I was just following orders, or everyone does it. Kant calls us to be universal moral legislators. Kant also applied his philosophical rigor to politics and society. His concept of perpetual peace anticipated many of the ideas behind the United Nations and modern international law. He envisioned a world of peaceful republics, united by a cosmopolitan law that recognizes the dignity of every human being, regardless of nationality. But perhaps Kant's most enduring contribution is his passionate defense of the Enlightenment. His motto, Sapere Aude, dare to know, still resonates today. Kant challenges us to think for ourselves, to question authority, to use our own reason. For him, the Enlightenment wasn't just about accumulating knowledge. It was about intellectual and moral courage. Kant's legacy is vast and deep. He influenced virtually every philosopher who came after him. German idealism, existentialism, phenomenology, all have their roots in Kantian thought. Even those who disagreed with Kant had to engage with his ideas. But Kant's impact goes far beyond academic philosophy. His ideas about autonomy and human dignity profoundly influenced our modern concepts of human rights and democracy. His vision of a world federation of republics anticipated organizations like the UN. His ethics of duty still inform debates about moral responsibility and professional ethics. And what about us today? What can we learn from Kant? Perhaps the most important thing is his message of intellectual and moral autonomy. In an age of fake news and polarization, Kant's call to think for ourselves is more relevant than ever. Kant teaches us to be critical, to question our own assumptions, to recognize the limits of our knowledge. But he also teaches us to be brave in our thinking, to dare to know, to take responsibility for our beliefs and actions. He shows us that, although our perception of reality is shaped by the structures of our mind, we still have the power to expand our horizons, to seek knowledge, to act morally. Kant's legacy is a call to action, a call for us to use our reason, to think critically, to act ethically. It's a call for us to recognize our dignity as rational and moral beings, and to treat all others with the same respect. So, the next time you look at the world around you, remember Kant. Remember that your mind isn't just passively observing, but actively shaping your experience. Remember that there are limits to what we can know, but that these limits aren't a prison. They're a challenge to continuously expand our understanding. And above all, remember Kant's call. Sapere Aude. Dare to know. Dare to think for yourself. Dare to question. Dare to be autonomous. Dare to be moral. Dare to be human in the fullest sense of the word. Because in the end, this is what Kant offers us, not just a new vision of reality, but a new understanding of ourselves. An understanding that sees us not as mere passive observers of the world, but as active participants in the creation of meaning and value. Kant showed us that the human mind is capable of much more than simply receiving information. It's capable of structuring our experience, of creating knowledge, of reasoning morally, of imagining a better world. And with this power comes enormous responsibility. So what will you do with this power? How will you use your reason to understand the world? How will you apply the categorical imperative in your daily life? How will you contribute to perpetual peace in your own circle of influence? These aren't easy questions, but they're the questions Kant challenges us to face. And in doing so, he invites us to participate in one of the greatest adventures possible, the adventure of thought, of morality, of humanity. Kant showed us that reality as we know it is shaped by our mind. Now it's up to us to decide what kind of reality we want to create. A reality of peace or conflict, of dignity or degradation, of knowledge or ignorance, of autonomy or submission. The choice is ours, and it's a choice we make not just once but every day, in every thought, in every action. So what do you choose? How will you use the power of your mind to shape your reality and the reality of those around you? How will you respond to Kant's call to dare to know, dare to think, dare to be? Remember, every moment is an opportunity to apply Kant's ideas. Every interaction is a chance to treat others as ends in themselves, never merely as means. Every decision is an opportunity to act according to a principle you would want to see as a universal law. And if you've made it this far, why not share in the comments, "I commit to thinking critically and acting ethically, starting today." Because that's how Kant's ideas come to life, not just in philosophy books, but in our daily lives, in our choices, in our actions. Kant's legacy isn't just a set of abstract ideas. It's an invitation to a life of reflection, of integrity, of intellectual and moral courage. It's an invitation to see the world in a new way and to take responsibility for shaping it for the better. So, the next time you look at the stars, remember Kant. Remember that the starry heavens above you and the moral law within you are both products of the same wonderful mind, yours. And with that knowledge, dare to know, dare to think, dare to be. Because in the end, that's what it means to be truly human. And that's what Kant, in all his brilliance, helped us understand.